Hi everyone, welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. Many of you are asking me the question, how can I learn English quickly? What do I need to do in order to get the words from that book into my head? And this is something which again and again is coming up in conversations with students. And I'd like to explore with you a little bit more about where you think the problem is. Well, first of all, when many of you are coming to learn English, you're viewing English as one big thing which somehow has to be transferred from the ether, from the page of the book, or from a person into your head. And that is what makes it very difficult. Your mindset is English is out there somewhere, and I need to absorb it into my mind. Now, with that starting point, you're not going to get very far because English is huge. Let's imagine the English language is a little bit like the ocean. And let's imagine that you like swimming. Okay, now are you going to swim to the deepest parts of the ocean to do some kind of work to explore what's in there? No, probably not. If you just like swimming, the chances are you're just going to go to the local swimming pool and you're going to know that swimming pool very well and you're going to be swimming where it's safe. You know the people, you know the swimming pool, you know how deep it is, and it's all you need to keep fit. You don't need anything else. Let's imagine that you want to swim in the sea. You know the beach you like to go to. You go there a lot. You know the tide. You know exactly what to do in order to stay safe. You know exactly where you'll enter the water. Let's go a stage further. Let's imagine you like boats. You have a little canoe or a kayak, and you know exactly what you're doing. Could be a surfboard, you like surfing, and you know exactly where the waves hit. You know your danger level, you know enough about what you're doing. Now the problem is, let's go back to English. When you come to English, many of you are coming with this idea that you're looking out at the ocean and you're saying, I want to know all of that ocean. I want to know everything. Quite a big task that, and it's something you're never going to achieve. Even the best sailor in the whole world only knows the surface of the water. Even the best diver in the whole world only knows how to discover those boats lying at the bottom. Each new one that he finds gives him a new adventure where he needs new tools. But that explorer, there is one thing that he knows, and that is that he loves shipwrecks. You know those old boats that have been sinking in the water, like the Titanic, for example. Yeah, there are people who love exploring the Titanic, and that is their life's purpose, to go down inside and see what's there. That's the part of the sea they want to explore. That's the part of the sea that makes things beautiful and wonderful for them. Imagine you're a programmer working with, let's say, some beautiful website, or maybe you work in fintech. Your starting point isn't, oh, programming is so big, I want to learn it all. You have a niche. You have a thing that you want. And you make yourself expert in that particular area. It could be that you haven't chosen that area. It could just be that that area in itself is one that you fell into, but you have your area. Let's go back to learning English. When I'm asked again and again, oh, my English is terrible, how can I make it better? What do I need to do to get English? Many of you are not stopping to think about your niche. It's not about getting every single word in the English language and shoving it into your head. Even native speakers don't do that. I want you to stop for a minute and think about your native language. What job do you do? Who do you see every day? And let's think about the jobs that you don't do. I'm an English teacher. I'm not an astronaut. Because of that, if you start talking to me about thermodynamics and space travel and all of these kind of terms, I'm going to look at you blankly and I'm going to say, what? I have no idea what you're talking about, except maybe I get your general idea. It might surprise you to know that if I watch an American reality TV show, I'll understand about 90%. The more real it gets with street talk, that falls down to 80%. And then it continues to decline. Why? Because although English is the same across the world, it's not the same on the streets. Only the standard is the same. And that standard, basically what people learn, and then they're devastated when they move somewhere and they think, oh my goodness me, I don't understand anything. My English must be terrible. But if you had taken even 10 minutes just to understand that it's nothing to do with your English, it's to do with the fact that you haven't localized your learning. Imagine a doctor who specializes in skin. That's his thing. Skin is his big thing, the thing he gets excited about. That's his passion. So one day, his colleague is off sick, and the chief medical officer in the hospital says, hey, John's off sick. Would you mind covering the department that looks after neurology? And the doctor points out to the chief, he says, listen, I'm a doctor, but my thing is skin. I don't want to work in neurology. And besides, I know basic medical training, but it would be a really bad idea to put me there. And the chief medical officer says, yeah, but we're so short-staffed, just do your best. What happens? The doctor gets discouraged, upset, eventually leaves the hospital when he's more and more forced to do things that he doesn't want to do because it kills his passion. Now, let's get back to your English. You're coming at this and you're saying, wow, I want to learn English. That's my thing. And this teacher is going to give me that English. So I'm going to throw money at him, and in return, he's going to throw English at me. Now, when you begin to learn English, yeah, there are basics. There's basic grammar, constructions, and basic vocabulary. But the strange thing is, most of you who come to me are past that stage. Who goes to an English teacher with nothing? You know, everyone who comes to me tells me, oh, my English is so bad. And I say, do you understand what I'm saying? Oh, yes, I understand. But my English is so bad. And then after a few minutes, I realize that, as usual, you're not a beginner. Most of you do your homework and you very quickly prepare for an English lesson only when you're sure that you're able to at least hold a basic conversation. Those kind of things you can easily learn from movies, from books, from podcasts. You're listening to this now because you know that you understand. Maybe you don't want to speak, maybe you're afraid to speak, but you know that you understand. That's why you're here listening. But my point is this. You need to get inside your own niche. If you love fish and you love looking at little fish inside a tank, naturally you will be learning English about those fish and about that tank. It will be the easiest thing in the world. If you're told by your boss you have to learn English so you can talk to clients, then why would you book a lesson and allow me to teach you about the names of animals? What's that going to do for you? How is that going to help? With learning, you really need to be identifying the area that you want to move in. And in that place, you go deeper and you discover more and more. You know, many of you come to me to ask about accent. You want accent reduction. And I say, okay, so who do you want to be in the English-speaking world? And you say, sorry, what do you mean, who do I want to be? And I say, well, the question is quite simple. You want to reduce your accent, but where are you going? Do you want to be an American? Do you want to be a British man? What area of England are you very, very interested in? And usually people think, well, why does that matter? Oh, it matters a lot because English is all about community. That's what language is. And communicating with other people. That's where the word community comes from, communication. So who are you in the English-speaking world? You want to be a CNN anchor? Do you want to be a doctor? Do you want to be a newsreader? Do you just want to be someone who wants to talk with your friends? It doesn't matter, but you need to know. And the reason why you need to know that is so that you can go deep. Those of you who just seem to skim across the top part of English is the same as those people who just let their boat drift out to sea. When you let your boat drift out in the ocean, you get kind of lost because you don't know where you are. And you have to rely on someone who's more experienced to help you. Is that really where you want to be today? Of course, it isn't. So what's the answer? It's very simple. And that is recreating that life for yourself you have in your own language in English. Begin to think about exactly how you can recreate your experience, whether that's working in fishing, whether it's a hobby, or if you don't want to do that, think about something new. But either way, you need to be digging deeper. Now, having said all of that, I understand it's not easy because right now you might be thinking of English as English, huge topic, I have to learn it. It doesn't have to be that way because the same basic words you use to communicate in saying, hello, how are you, the weather's terrible, easily transfer into whatever niche you're heading into. Now, I'm sure you've watched enough motivation videos on YouTube, and they talk a lot about exactly the small area of life that you like. Maybe you like self-help. Maybe you like psychology. Maybe you like your special subject, which could be anything from dressmaking all the way over to something religious or something involving education. Who knows? But my point is this. Don't try to learn everything because you're not going to get very far and it's too high level. High level means something which tries to cover everything without going into detail. Choose your area first of all. Do you want to be American? Do you want to be British? And when you say, I want to speak English, Indians speak English, Dutch people speak English, British people speak English, many countries in Africa have English as their official language. Who do you want to be? Okay, so next you tell me, okay, I want to be in London. Now you remember, we're not talking physically here. You can be in London physically if you want. Cost you a lot of money, but you can do that. The next question is, okay, yeah, right, you want to be in the south of England, London, and what next? And you say, what? Sorry, what do you mean, what next? London's a big place. What kind of community do you want to fit into in London? It's not cheap. Working in finance? Working in advertising? You want to be a doctor? You want to be a nurse? You want to be with people who have the same mindset as you. So get on social media, find those people that you want to be like, and begin imitating, copying, learning from them. This is how you do it. Now, that's very different from the wrong way, which is saying, okay, yeah, I want to speak English. And then you don't know how to move forward. You don't even know which country you would like. Let me tell you something. If you put me in Ireland today, especially in the north of Ireland, let's just say you pick me up from here, where I am at the moment, and you drop me in Belfast. I'll be looking around. I don't know the place. I ask someone for directions, and that person may say something like, well, if you walk to the end of that street and just take a left and follow your nose all the way down, and I'll be thinking, what? Sorry, what? Tell me again? We're all British. We're all speaking English, and yet I might have no idea what that man is saying. Can you speak slower, please? He's as British as I am. So why am I not understanding? I'm a native speaker. Shouldn't I know everything? The answer is no. I have my own little bit of the UK that I know. Now, I'm different because I'm a teacher, of course. I've travelled extensively and I know a lot more about accents than some people do. That's my thing. That's my niche. So, here's a few questions for you to think about before we finish. Who exactly do you want to be as a British English speaker? Or maybe just as an English speaker? Are you moving to Trinidad? Are you moving to America? Are you moving to London or Glasgow? Even between London and Glasgow, the culture and language so different, even the idioms. So who do you want to be? When you come at English with this kind of mindset, it helps to build the house that you eventually are going to be living in with a new language. But that's very different from wandering around the streets saying, you know what, I need a place to live. Can I live here? Do you speak English? Is it okay to stay with you? Can I learn from you? You need to start building, and you do that by, first of all, identifying an area of the English speaking world that you like, one that will teach you, and from that place, you can see the rest of the world. For example, if I'm living in London and I go to Belfast and I say, oh, I don't understand that person's accent, I don't then say, oh, well, that's because my English is so bad. It's because I say, well, it's because I'm from London. If I learnt how to have an accent like that, probably I would have understood more. But it's not a weakness. It's not about my English that I haven't learned. It's simply telling me that there's other bits of the English world that I don't know. So when you come to me saying, I want to learn English, what are you wanting to learn? And what are you doing to reach that point? You need to break it down, find your specialization and your area, and from there, you jump right into the water. Hopefully that's made a little bit of sense to you. So let's talk again soon. See you. Bye.